Hi there, my name is Shelley Swap. I am one of the nutrition providers here at Vitality Health Matrix. I'm also a clinical herbalist. I'm an integrative clinical herbalist, and have been studying and using herbs as a form of medicine or in my treatment protocols for um, well over a dozen years at this point. And today I'm going to take a little bit of a break from botanicals for specifically women's health. And we're going to talk a little bit about cold and flu season because it is here and it is a rager this year. So, having just gotten many of my family members through the flu, I wanted to share with you some of the things that can be really helpful if flus and colds are everywhere around you or if they've already hit your family. Probably the one that you may have heard the most about is elderberry. So, elderberry is a really fantastic little herb. It grows all over the United States. So, it is native to everywhere in the United States, which is really sweet. It's been around for, as long as the continent has been here. Elderberry has a really unique property of improving your body's ability to fight. There are some great studies that have come out of Europe, and we have a couple of here that are in the United States, but most of the good ones have come out of Europe that have shown that if you are if you take elderberry, you can both help prevent getting the flu. But if you do get the flu when you've taken elderberry, then taking about 600 to 900 milligrams 3 times a day is just as effective as Tamiflu at reducing symptoms and decreasing the how long that you'll be sick. If you have that on hand. So this is one of the products that I have here. You'll see it's actually on Amazon. It's one of their, I think it's their bestseller, or at least when I was on there recently, it was one of their best sellers. Oftentimes I've used elderberry syrup. I make elderberry syrup because we have elderberry that grows all over our mountains here. But I was running really low and I never make it when someone is like, I don't make it when I'm sick. So when people are sick in the house. So um, this is one that I picked up and it's actually got some zinc, it's got some vitamin C, and it might have one other thing in it. I think it's got some ginger, which is nice and warming, great for digestion, and great if you have like body aches and those types of things. This one is 1,000 milligrams of elderberry with 2 capsules. So if you have a child in the house, you can do the half. You can just do the 1 capsule, but for adults, you can do the full 2 capsules. You can take it during active symptoms. You can take it every 2 hours or just 3 times a day to help you get through the flu faster. And we saw it work really, really well here at our house this last week. The other one that you may not be, well, if you don't like to swallow pills or that can help increase the amount of elderberry in your system, is to take, is to consider a tea. Like this one is from Puka Herbs. I love Puka. I am totally dropping the brand name because we want to be really thoughtful about microplastics. And we've learned over the last year or two that, tea bags are a major source of microplastics. And so there are a few companies that are being really that have been very forward thinking and that have changed their products significantly so that they're not exposing their customers to microplastics as much as they have the capacity to do so. And Puka is one of them. So their tea bags are safe, plus they use a lot of organic ingredients, and their teas are very simple and very, very effective because they use high enough doses to be therapeutic. So they have an elderberry and echinacea tea. It's kind of sweet. It does a really good job. So the echinacea is another one that's going to help stimulate your white blood cells to help us stimulate your immune system. This isn't something that we want to be overly concerned about if you've got an autoimmune disease. It's a little bit different pathway, and we've got some good research that it's not stimulating to autoimmune conditions. Um, but this is another one that you could sip on throughout the day to help improve symptoms and to boost your immune system. Okay. Another really good one that you may not have heard of is andrographis. You can get this from a couple of different brands. Metagenics has it, Gaia Herbs has it. This is Planetary Herbals. And andrographis is kind of the little known powerhouse, or the very, very underknown powerhouse herb that has got some great research around both colds and flu. Really one of the few things that has got solid evidence-based research showing that it reduces both colds. And by several days, we have some research showing that it can reduce colds to as little as 3 to 4 days, which is pretty rare because most of the time, even with echinacea and all the other things, vitamin C, you either, we say a cold is 14 days to 2 weeks, right? So um, But with andrographis, we can reduce symptoms pretty significantly if it's taken immediately within the first like 8 hours of symptoms. And again, this is something that you'd want to take twice a day. It is so bitter. So prepare yourself. Even the tablet, you swallow it and you're like, whoa, that is bitter. So you want to swallow it fast. But it does have some really good research around both flu and cold to help reduce symptoms. And it's super supportive for your liver as well. So that is the one that I like. This one is 400 milligrams, and that's about where we see in the research the dosing twice a day. You can and you would do less than that for children. So kids would have a hard time swallowing this one because the tablet is pretty big, but this is great for adults. All right, let's talk about two more things that we know have got some really good research around supporting. If you've got a cough, you've got some respiratory stuff going on. Have you heard of NAC? That's short for N-acetylcysteine. Cysteine is something that's found in our food. So meat, eggs, cheese, certain nuts, vegetables, those types of things contain cysteine. Our body should convert that. One of the things that it converts it to, there's lots of different things we use cysteine for, but one of the things that it converts it to is N-acetylcysteine, and that's a detoxifying molecule in the body. And that is super helpful. I use it actually quite a bit in women's health, and we'll talk more about the research around this in endometriosis and some of the other fibroids and those types of things in another live class. But as far as cold and flu goes, NAC is really, really great for respiratory support. So if you've got that kind of nagging, hanging on cough that just isn't going away, NAC can really help with that. This is a high dose. Most of the research is around 600 milligrams 3 times a day, so about 1,800 milligrams a day. We are starting to see more things come out around the 1,000 milligrams twice a day because not everybody can get it 3 times a day, right? And so you can do 600 milligrams 3 times a day. You can do 900 milligrams twice a day or 1,000 milligrams twice a day. Obviously, if you're on other medications, you want to be checking in with your medical providers and making sure that things are safe. But the things that I'm introducing to you today are considered really high on the safety ratings. They have, we have a safety grading of A through F, basically, and all of these are A rated, meaning they are super high safety profile, not a lot of interactions, those types of things. But you do always want to check with your medical provider. Now, one of the last things I wanted to introduce you to before I go, and this is just going to be quick, is Tulsi or holy basil. Holy basil is an Ayurvedic herb. It is often referred to as the queen of herbs. And so I often call her she, that she is a lovely, lovely herb for so many things. She's both calming and grounding. And she's also she has some antiviral and some not quite antibiotic properties, but antiviral, excuse me, talking too fast, antiviral properties. And it's also really helpful to thin mucus. So when you get that congestion that's causing that coughing and it's just thick and things, this is a really sweet one to do that. It's not drying, so it's not going to be like a something that you take over the counter that's just going to dry everything out. It does just the opposite. It helps to moisten and thin and loosen. So it's a really wonderful herb for sleep. It's a really wonderful herb for stress, and it's a fantastic herb for cold and flu as well. It has kind of a nice, lightly spicy, very sweet, very gentle. It's just got a really lovely smell and a lovely flavor to it. Most of the time, I find that people don't even need to sweeten this tea. Again, I've chosen puka because this is a 3. So there's several different types of holy basil. And this one has all 3 types of holy basil. So you're going to get the benefits of all 3 of them. You're going to get the antioxidants of all of them. And then you're also going to get the benefit of not getting the microplastics in your tea bag. So I love this. And I love that when you order this, they're going to say, like, it's really hard to find just one box of a puka tea because they're so aware of environmental impact. And so oftentimes when you buy some, you're going to get 4 boxes at a time if you're not picking it up at the local grocery store or local Whole Foods or health food store that you've got near you. So anyway, if you are looking for things to help ease colds and flu, respiratory viruses, all the fun things that are going around, all of these things are really good choices. And if I can be of support, please reach out. I'd love to be there. I'd love to help answer any additional questions for you. And if you need help figuring out if they interact with any of your meds, just pop that in the chat with your medical providers or in the club, and I'm happy to help be of support there too. So I hope you all are staying well. Of course, add your vitamin C, your zinc, all those things in addition to these herbs. But these herbs can really make a difference between, being sick for 2 weeks versus being sick for just, 4 or 5 days. So anyway, I I hope the rest of you are staying healthy. We'll talk to you again. Stay well.